Persona 5 Strikers. Released for the Nintendo Switch in Japan in February 2020 and in the West for the Switch and PC 1 year later, Persona 5 Strikers was developed by Koei Tecmo as the newest series to receive the Warriors treatment. However, the end result is quite different from what could be expected and is way closer to the Persona series than to the Warriors one. Let's see how well this went. Strikers is a direct sequel to Persona 5, not Royale, and follows the adventures of the Phantom Thieves as they travel across Japan as they try to clear their name due to a series of changes of heart that have been going across the nation. With the help of a couple of new and quite charming characters, the Phantom's newest adventure begins. The story in general is simple and for the most part follows the modus operandi of Persona 5. It has long chapter introductions, after which you'll investigate the case a bit, explore a dungeon, do a couple of extra things and side missions, and finally fight the chapter boss before moving to a new region. The main villains are interesting enough, but don't measure up to the best ones in the original game. Not the best in the world, but the story is at least sure to keep you interested enough to see it through. The main characters are what they are, and they really haven't changed from the last time we saw them. Their main plots having been completed in Persona 5, most of the interactions and interesting events are focused in the two new characters instead. Luckily, these are very well done, and I enjoy their development more than the ones from many of the members in the main cast in the original game. Graphics are basically the same as what we had in Persona 5, a little less in the Switch and a bit more on PC. Menus and general design are as well done and stylish as one could expect, and even buying things from the store is visually pleasing. The dungeons can be a bit repetitive visually though, since they mostly go from normal city to normal with trees to city with ice and so forth. There are indeed a couple more visually interesting places, but they are certainly a minority. The music, in classic Meguro fashion, is awesome and fits the action and important scenes perfectly, and might lead to your eyes to overflow with emotion, so be wary if you are playing in public. Focusing on the combat dungeon exploration portion, since the rest is basically going around cities, buying things and talking to people to advance the story or just for flavor. We have an outstanding mix of the Persona and Musou series. You'll go around the areas exploring, hiding behind things, and initiating combat in classic Persona fashion. Once you ambush the enemies or they hit you, a group of enemies will appear and you have to defeat them before moving on. Sometimes you'll find stronger enemies in groups or acting in specific places as mid-bosses. If, like me, you were expecting hundreds of troops running around at all times while you try to achieve objectives, you'll be totally surprised. The dungeons themselves are not very complex and hardly have any puzzles. They are more about exploring and fighting to unlock the entrance to new places as you try to get to the final boss. The combat itself can be brutal sometimes, so you really have to take advantage of the things at your disposal. What mainly differentiates the combat in this game from a normal Warriors title is that all enemies have elemental strengths and weaknesses, while our allies have each a main element. With the exception of Joker, of course, who as you may expect can handle multiple personas that you can get by collecting masks after defeating enemies or in the usual Velvet Room style. According to the combos you make, your characters will use their skills, or you can press a button to pause the action and choose from your available skills from a list. Oh, and you also have your guns, that can be used to initiate combat or within it. The only thing I dislike is how, and just like in Persona games, your SP, what you use to cast the skills from menus, will run out and the only way to recover it besides items, at least at the beginning, is to leave the dungeon. This makes sense in classic Persona titles since leaving the dungeon means the day will finish and you have a limited number of days to achieve your objective, so it helps keep things tense and limits how much you can do in a given day. Here, however, the days don't advance, so this is just annoying since it basically forces you to reload levels for no good reason at all. Just let me recover my SP in checkpoints, come on. Luckily, as you advance with the game and have more SP, buy skills in the bonding skills tree that unlocks, learn to rotate your party members, and realize that your normal combos have elemental attacks connected to them and don't use SP, this becomes way less of a problem. Still a poor design choice in an almost flawless game though. To finish, the main story should take you around 40 to 50 hours, and there is some post-game content after which you'll unlock New Game Plus, so you'll get your money's worth. Certainly not perfect, but outstanding. If you know what you're getting into, the few problems it has are easily overlooked, and Persona 5 fans are sure to enjoy this road trip. If you weren't convinced about the game due to how mindless warrior games usually are, go and buy it now, since this is not quite the Musou game you'd expect. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. You can expect more reviews on RPGs in the future.